Hi, I'm Eric Siegel with ericstrains.com, and this is Volume 9 of Eric's Trains Express. Okay, so I've got something that I want to share with you real quick. This is a miniature Bluetooth speaker that I picked up from Home Depot a couple weeks ago. You can see there's a little speaker opening up on top, and then there's a pairing button down below. And as you can see, it's very small. And, you know, one of the fun things about this hobby is that sometimes when you're out and about doing things that have nothing to do with trains, you see things and you think, hey, you know, maybe that could work on my layout. And that was the case here. So I was standing in the checkout line at Home Depot buying some light bulbs or something like that. And they had a bin full of these, and they cost 10 bucks a piece. They're not very expensive. And when I first saw it, I kind of laughed because I thought, my God, who would want to use something this small to play music? Because quite honestly, the sound quality that you get from the built-in speakers on any modern smartphone is just as good, if not better, than the sound quality you get from this thing. But as I found out later, this thing really isn't meant to play music. It's really meant to be used as a Bluetooth speakerphone. So there's a little loop here, and so you can put a string or a chain through it, and then you can hang it around your neck. And so what would happen is if you were on a job site and your phone started ringing, rather than having to dig into your pocket and grab your phone, you could just press the button and answer the phone, and with this thing hanging around your neck, it becomes a nice little Bluetooth speakerphone. So it's really handy for that, and I can see it being really convenient if you're doing construction work. Let's say you're on someone's roof doing a reshingling job or something like that, and you really can't reach into your pocket to get your phone very easily. This could be very, very handy. But of course, being in the train hobby, I looked at it and I thought, you know, maybe I could use this on my layout. So what we're going to do today is place this little Bluetooth speaker inside a couple of items, and we'll play some sounds through it. So I'm going to put it into a couple buildings, and that will be fun. And then we'll also put it inside of a passenger car and have some fun with that. Now, of course, just to cover my butt, there are a couple things I want to tell you before we get started. First of all, the idea of using a Bluetooth speaker on a layout is by no means an original idea. I'm sure there are lots of people out there who are already using Bluetooth speakers on their layout. The only reason I'm doing this video is because this thing is just so darn small that you can fit it in places where a normal, larger Bluetooth speaker might not fit. The other thing I want to say is that what you're going to see me do today with this speaker is by no means a finished process. In other words, this is not a tutorial video. The goal here is just to give you a raw idea, and then after that, it's up to you to pick up that idea, run with it, and find a use for it on your layout. And the main reason I say that is because if you're going to use one of these things on your layout on a permanent basis, there are a couple things to take into consideration. First of all, it needs a power source. Yes, there is an internal battery, but that won't last forever. So if I was using this thing inside of a building, I would run up a USB cable to it, and that would give it power. If I was using this in a passenger car, well, there are two ways you could do it. The easiest way, I guess, is that when it runs out of power, you simply remove it from the passenger car and charge it back up with a USB cable. However, if you're good with electronics, you could actually wire this thing up to run off track power. It only requires 5 volts DC, which is no big deal to get that from track power. So yeah, you could run this thing off track power, and that would be really cool. The other thing you have to take into consideration is that the pairing button down here needs to be readily accessible so that you can pair this thing with your phone or any other Bluetooth device. So if you put it inside of a building or a passenger car, make sure that you can easily get to the pairing button so that you can actually use this with your Bluetooth-enabled devices. Okay, so we're going to start things off by adding the speaker to a passenger car. So I've just got a random passenger car from my fleet here. This is a Lionel Milwaukee Road baggage car. I'm going to be using a baggage car today because these big wide doors will make this demonstration easier. So here's the speaker. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on.
Hi, I'm ready. Waiting for a connection.
And I've already paired it with my phone before. It's called the Cube, and it should connect in just a second.
Bluetooth connected.
There we go, and as you heard, it's now connected. So we'll go ahead and insert the speaker in the car. Now, like I hinted at earlier, if I was doing a permanent installation, I would probably wire this thing up to run off track power, but right now it's just running off the internal battery. There is no power on the track right now. Also, if I was doing a permanent installation, I would mount it on some double-sided sticky tape, and I would make sure that the power button was readily accessible. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in there and make sure the speaker is sticking up. And then we'll go ahead and close the door. So I'm going to pull up my YouTube app. And I'm going to do a search for train conductor saying all aboard. And I know this one's pretty good, so I'm going to play this one. This is an Amtrak train with a conductor saying all aboard. We'll go ahead and play it. Pretty cool. And you can play whatever sounds you want, so it doesn't have to be YouTube. I could go to my music library and, I could play whatever song I want. So it doesn't have to be train sounds, it could be anything you want. And again, there's no track power, I'm just using the built-in battery in the speaker. Okay, up next I've got a building. This one is made by MTH, and on the first floor there is a pool hall. So I went ahead and put the speaker on the inside of the building, and on YouTube I've pulled up the sounds of a pool hall. So let's go ahead and listen to some people shooting pool. How cool is that? It's real subtle, it's not too loud, but if you listen closely you can hear people shooting pool and you can hear people talking and so forth. And just like with the passenger car, you can play any sounds you want. So let's pretend it's Friday night and the pool hall has hired a band. That's great, it starts with an earth. And there you go. Looks like REM is playing the pool hall tonight. Lastly, I've got a passenger station here, which is also made by MTH. I put the speaker on the inside, and on YouTube I found some passenger station announcements that are actually also made by MTH. So let's give it a listen. You could also record your own announcements if you wanted to. So using the voice memo function on my iPhone, I went ahead and recorded something just for fun. So let's give it a listen.
Now arriving, the Eric Trains Express. Boarding now, the Eric Trains Express.
Alright, so I'm going to end my little demonstration here, but really the sky's the limit with one of these little speakers. You can put it anywhere you want to on your layout where you want sound. So it could be in a passenger station, or a bar, or an apartment building, or a house, or a passenger train, a freight train, a factory, anywhere. Really, the sky's the limit. So hopefully this has given you some good ideas, and maybe you'll go out and buy one of these things. Like I said, I got it at Home Depot and it cost $10. Didn't cost very much at all. So go get one of these things, have some fun with it, and hopefully you'll find a good use for one of these things on your layout. But for now, that's it. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time.